two sides, those for Maduro and those against, and we're also hearing what Ambassador Granderson said, which is that an external solution wouldn't work. So should we get accustomed to this? Is this the new normal and we're not going to fix it from outside if there is something to fix? And Venezuela doesn't seem to be fixing it from inside. So why are we here? What's the solution? What's the objective? Should we just should we get accustomed to this as the new normal and work around it?
All right, I'm not sure if it's a new normal. They are going to respond, but there's a principle of non-interference in the affairs of a sovereign state. So, I mean, I don't know how they're going to respond to that. Yes, yeah, no, and go ahead, young lady.
Good afternoon, Reshma Barrett. We spoke a lot about the crisis in Venezuela this morning into the afternoon. My question really is, in any given crisis, there's always opportunity. I'd like to get the thoughts of the panelists on potential opportunities from the CARICOM states in Venezuela, and what are their thoughts regarding that? I know the risks are high, but what are the thoughts on opportunities?
All right. This is our last chance for questions from the floor. If not, I'm going back to the panel, and we're going to round it off after that. Yes, there's a young man over.
Hi, good evening. My name is Matic Nichols from Phoenix Park Gas Processors. I've been hearing a lot about non-interference in sovereign state. But I'm wondering from an economic standpoint, a lot of the factors that I'm concerned about are the decline of the oil and gas sector, which is a major factor in what is happening in Venezuela, not just the political context. And how can we facilitate helping that economic recovery? They, for a fact, kicked out a lot of professionals who were part of international organizations, and they would need expertise. We have expertise. What is being done on that level to help Venezuela?
Sure. All right. There's no one else. So I'm going to go back to the panel now. I'm going to start in the reverse order. So may I ask the Ambassador Wickham, to go first, and then we'll come up.
Someone asked about the potential opportunities in crisis. I believe that, as I indicated earlier, we are so close to Venezuela. Venezuela has been a rentier state for decades, where 95% of its income, its revenue, is derived from the sale of petroleum and its derivatives, 95%. It gives you an indication of the challenges, the economic challenges which the country faces due to the decline in oil prices from mid-2014. Now, one of the things that CARICOM may have to begin to pay some special attention to is, can we begin to assist Venezuela in the area of trade and other areas of expertise that they may not have here? Venezuela has a very diversified, it's a very diversified country in respect of tourism, but its tourism is very underdeveloped. CARICOM, there are certain CARICOM countries which have acquired over the number of decades great expertise in tourism development. Is that an area in which we can assist Venezuela? Are they prepared to receive that type of assistance to develop their tourism product? That is one area. Of course, trade is important. Continual trade with Venezuela is important. Right now, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, for instance, it is basically one-way trade. We purchase petroleum products from Venezuela. We do not sell anything to Venezuela. And in fact, as we speak, we are in the process of trying to work out a small agreement where we can begin to supply certain products, some of these same products that are scarce, to Venezuela under the compensatory mechanism of Petrocaribe. So there are small areas which our countries can begin to develop to be able to give that support to Venezuela in both in trade, tourism, and technical cooperation in areas where we have the expertise and the ability and they do not have.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. We go now to Mark Curtin. Closing comments, responses and closing comments at the same time.
Okay. The question about opportunities, I would hope that as a Guyanese, that there's an opportunity which is taken by CARICOM for a framework of dialogue to be developed, reasoned dialogue among the parties. You know, as a small state which for over 50 years has been bombarded by aggression from Venezuela, I think it is time that a settlement to this controversy not be left to, or it shouldn't be left to fester. But there's hope that by the end of 2017, that there could be a judicial settlement. In the meantime, I believe that there's a framework that could be established for more dialogue at the second tier level, second tier diplomacy, one might call it, so that we can have the people of both nation states understanding each other and working for better quality of life in both states. As you know, there's a new sector emerging in Ghana, the oil and gas sector. And one would want to see that kind of sector emerging and ensuring that the people of Guyana benefit significantly from the fortunes that could arise. So I would say that this potential crisis, or this crisis that has emerged, provides an opportunity for CARICOM to develop a framework for peace and adherence to the rule of law in the region.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mark Curtin. We go now to Mrs. Diane Jackson-Miller for your closing comments and your response to the comments that were just made.
I think the importance of CARICOM is always underscored in these types of situations. I've been listening with great interest to the comments made by the minister from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I do think, without necessarily taking a position one way or the other, I do think it's a pity that so far CARICOM hasn't been able to come to a more united position, because I think that it holds so much more sway in the international corridors. At the same time, I think it's encouraging that there has been a compromise at this point. However, I think I mentioned the word general a little bit earlier, and on radio I've used the word weak in some quarters. I think it would be important for us to see a stronger, more cohesive position. And for those who continue to question CARICOM in terms of its efficacy as well as its continued relevance, I think the Venezuelan situation is one of those very important institutions and situations. We're kind of at a juncture here where CARICOM's strength is going to be very, very critical.
Thank you very, very much, Mrs. Jackson-Miller. And now, finally, Ambassador Colin Granderson.
Thank you. Very good questions here, like the earlier ones. I made the point that if a solution is imposed, it means that you will not have dealt with the roots of the initial problem. You will not have dealt with the factors that led to the crisis. Whereas if there's dialogue involving the persons of the country, as I said before, that the solutions through dialogue will have to address the roots of the problem, the roots of the crisis, and therefore the solution tends to last far longer. I think if one looks at the at the literature on conflict resolution, you will see this has been the case in the majority of examples. Imposed from the outside, yes, you have you get a form of peace. The peace has to be policed by external powers, and down the road, the problems will flare up again. So the roots have to be addressed. With regard to political opportunities for CARICOM arising from the crisis, there's a very important one. CARICOM's energy, the majority of member states of CARICOM, the energy comes from fossil fuels. Hence the importance of Petro-Caribe, especially during the post-2008 global economic and financial crisis. What has been taking place over the past few years is that CARICOM has been paying far more attention to renewable energy and the sources of alternative energy. We've been given technical assistance from a number of external partners. The Germans, for example, have played a very important role. A lot of work has been done also with the assistance of the French with regard to thermal energy in places like Dominica, Nevis. Alternative energy also, in the latter years of the Obama administration, the US government started paying far more attention to renewable energy. And clearly, this was a reaction, I would imagine, to the fact that the influence of Venezuela had been strengthened because of our emphasis, emphasis on fossil fuel, and therefore the strong influence of Petro-Caribe. So this is but one example, I think, of opportunities that come from, how shall I put it, that we have to focus on our own weaknesses, and we need to see what we can do to be able to address those weaknesses and to find ourselves in a position where we're not beholden to any one source or any number of sources for us to make our way in the world. With regard to how can we help the economic recovery of Venezuela, it's quite clear that unless there is a solution to the present crisis, that it will be extremely difficult for the economy of Venezuela to recover. Venezuela needs peace, they need stability, they need to get away from the disruptions, they need to get away from the amount of damage that has taken place, not only to human capital, because there's been a huge outflow of technical persons from Venezuela. If the country is to recover, it needs peace, it needs dialogue, it needs a solution to the crisis. It needs, therefore, to be able to bring together its people who are dispersed to the four winds, to be able to come back home and to be able to function in a stabilized situation. Chair, once again, thanks very much for this opportunity. Thanks again to the Institute of International Relations for bringing the panelists together, and also for the audience for the questions that they have that they themselves have raised, and also helping us to focus on other aspects of the problem that perhaps we had not looked at in greater depth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Granderson. And may I have a round of applause for all the panelists? I will follow up on Colin's closing comments, because I now want to thank all the members of both panels for coming with us. These are very, very busy people to come and sit with us for the last 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. Yes, it's quite a bit of a task. I was trying to cost it while they were speaking, and I could not calculate such big figures. So I decided not to do it. So I want to thank every one of you on the panels, both panels, for coming and spending this time with us. And I'm sure that we are all much more enlightened because of what you had to say. I want to thank, although he was not able to make it, PVC Richard Bernal and his office, because they helped us a lot in putting together the panels, in identifying some of the people and encouraging some of the people to take part. And we are very, very grateful for that intervention. We want to thank Mrs. Rhonda Jaipal Ogaro and her staff at Marketing and Communications for their support, without which a lot of this would not have been known to many of the outside world. We want to thank the personnel of UWI-TV who are present with us, and of the campus IT services for helping us putting the technical items together and making it flow very, very fluidly. In fact, I am very much very much impressed by the way the things went. I've never seen technology work so well in an environment like this. In fact, I had a fear that it would make us